would have been better.
Why?
Because we need a shakeout, you know? These things have to happen once every century. Get something real. Clean out the dead wood.
Okay.
Of the rock industry.
Okay. So. Okay.
Yeah.
Dave, what are you talking about, man?
It would be better, and then you wouldn't see any Loudwire or any of that stuff around anymore. All those guys would die. They'd go out of the way. Wow. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You just, cut off the feed system.
I don't know. Is there a feed system left?
Yeah, and that's it. That's the last. It's like IVs plugged into old management companies and weird old artists, guys like myself. Yeah, it's time for the kids to take over,
Fucking kids, man. The kids,
well,
the kids are learning how to play guitar. Like I'm telling you, the kids, like the 14-year-old kids rocking Nirvana t-shirts and fucking Soundgarden t-shirts, they're learning.
They play guitar better than anyone has ever in the whole history of the world now because of schools of rock.
Yes.
School of rock and stuff. The only thing is that they just...
Give it time. Give it time. I got faith.
I hope so, too. Because if they come out like Greta Van Fleet, I'm not happy. You know what I mean?
Give it time. Give it time. They'll figure it out. I have faith that maybe the next generation of broke ass 19 to 23-year-olds is gonna happen. I'm hoping.
It certainly is possible. It's actually possible more for the greatest. This should be right now, with our technology, the greatest time in history. But instead, which is, okay, all right, I get it. People, we can't handle our tech, so.
Never could.
We never could.
Never could.
There's a big difference in me not being able to handle a railroad train and a billion miles an hour information's fuck up.
Yes. Well, yes.
How's your kid?
Oh, what a pain in the ass.
How old?
3.
Oh, that's a nightmare.
Yeah. He hates me too. Oh, God.
Oh, he doesn't hate you.
Dude, he does. He's mommy, everything.
Well, that'll change. I went through all this shit myself, believe me, man. I have like 8 kids in my family. A daughter, all these nieces, and that around 2 or 3.
Yeah.
You're fucked.
Yeah,
and then it'll turn into something else, and it'll be great. And then it'll come back at around 14. The defiance will come back around 14.
Yeah.
And then it'll be fine after that.
I could use a good stretch.
Yeah.
Boys,
man, boys are tough.
It's he fractured his skull a couple months ago in March. Fell down our basement stairs, and then like 4 weeks ago now, broke his leg. Going down,
little guy.
Yes, going down a twisty slide. With his mother. Just kind of he kind of juked the wrong way, caught his leg.
Yeah.
Freak fucking thing, right? So, I feel like in addition to the entire last year of his life being a what the fuck just happened because global pandemic, now it's like well, we can kind of go places again, but you can't really walk because this. So yeah, he's had a tough time, and I'm trying to cut him slack. And some days that makes him a little bit easier to live with, and some days it's just me curled up in a ball.
I guarantee you, in the scheme of things, this is going to be more of an event for you than it was for him, because kids.
Yeah,
I fractured my skull. I jumped off my porch of land and had amnesia for like 2 weeks. Couldn't remember anything. Split my skull open. Then got in a car accident all in the same year. And I don't remember anything bad about it at all. It was just like, oh yeah, that's the way it was. It was, you don't have the memories.
Right.
Your brain isn't set up for that.
Right. He's resilient. He's He's got that on me as well. He's much more resilient.
Plus, he's 2 and 3. So, I mean,
Yeah.
2 and 3,
Yeah, oh yeah. He's got.
when they learn what no means,
He knows. He knows. He knows.
the power.
Yeah, he knows. He knows. But anyway,
It's
how's your pandemic been?
What a fucking bore. What a snore. Oh, my God.
March 18th was the Brooklyn show of the Power Trip
Right.
Trip-ish tour. You guys and Nebula. That was
Right.
was like the day New York shut down. Right?
I know, and I remember trying to convince my manager and the booking agents that was going to happen 3 weeks before that, and they were like, "Don't cancel." And I was like, "What are you talking about? I just got back from Europe."
Yeah.
And it's like remember that whole weird stuff with everyone was like, "How bad's it going to be?" It was like, all you got to do is is like, look.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, I'm telling you guys, I was right there. We just got out of Spain as they were locking Spain down. And I'm telling you, it's coming here. And they're like, well, there's no reason to cancel now. And I was like, look, I don't want to get stuck out in the middle of America.
Right.
Or somewhere in America. And when everyone decides to shut down.
Right.
And then, just the absolute weirdness. I mean, between the Trump administration and Corona, that was the most bizarre television show I've ever lived with.
It's true. It's true. Even PBS NewsHour made it interesting. Right? I mean, it's like the ultimate in boring news was a thrill every day, like of the worst kind. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's like bands and science fiction writers, and I mean, they had it easy writing about stuff. It's like, okay, top this.
Right.
There was no entertainment that could top it.
Well, that was it. The only trouble is you would write it and it wouldn't be believable, right? Like you'd be like, oh, this is fucking stupid.
Not quite.
If someone made that record, you'd be like, come on, get this out of here. Which
just shows us all that our worst dystopia is also a cheesy American version. It's not the cool science fiction one. It's a cheesy one with a lot of embarrassment and a lot of ass dragging and like, gee, I didn't know, like all that kind of stuff. It's like, I wanted to get out. There was no place on earth that I could figure I would be happy. I was like, I just want to get off the planet.
Right.
Like, fuck this place. But now, here we go. So
yeah.
See what happens.
There you go.
Let's see how many people die from the Foo Fighters concert.
Super
The
spread.
Delta variant, dude. Delta variant.
I know. It's the latest thing. Yeah.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water.
I still wear my mask at the grocery store. I got my vaccine. I did. I went in, got my shot. I signed me up first day, whatever. I still wear my mask at the grocery store.
I do too, and then people started laughing at me, so I took it off.
Yeah. Really?
Like,
really? People laughing at you for that shit?
Yeah, they're like, it's New Jersey.
Come on. No, I don't know. I don't know how it goes down the shore, but up here, I'm not the only one with the mask. I don't know.
No, I don't think. I mean, masks are here to stay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I hope so.
For a lot of people.
I hope so. Everyone, talking about it with my family and stuff, everybody's like, nobody got a cold. And everybody's very impressed with themselves for not getting sick.
Right.
So I agree with you. I think the masks are
for a lot. But the whole thing is, like, if you wear it too much, if you don't get a cold, you're just setting yourself up to get. I mean, you have to get in the dirt.
Need the exposure.
You need those. Your body's own immune system has to be constantly tested, or you just wind up to be like some lab rat. That like you get a cold and it's the worst fucking thing that ever happened to you when it should just be a cold.
Right.
I'm trying to think of like, what did they do? How did it all pan out after the 1918 flu? And it's like that you just walked it off. Those people just kept going. You either died.
Right, or they died. Yes.
Or they died, and then they were sick for years and years afterwards. It was still around.
Right. Well,
so I'd imagine it would be the same.
I mean, yeah, I was going to say. I mean, already see long haul COVID, right? That's a thing.
Yeah, it's just another thing to be added to the list of shit you can get.
Yeah.
Woo!
Something else to be paranoid about. This is going well so far. Hey.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about the Brighton Bar. Right? While we're exploring these wonderfully positive topics, the fucking Brighton Bar closed.
What a way to go.
Right?
That could have been done a million times better. You know, after all that time, that's how they go. They just slink out the door. It's like, if Greg, like, you know, I've known Greg for a long time. I don't know him really, really well. I don't even know him well enough to call him, and I didn't want to call him, but he could have just given a shout out to at least 5 or 6 bands. That thing would have turned into
a blowout.
A blowout. That would have probably bought him the rent there for the next 6 months, so he could leave in a way that was, you know, that somebody could remember.
Yeah.
And now it's like typical fucking Long Branch shit. It just blew away, like doing something else. After all that time,
right?
That place was, I think it was made in like 1910. I really think the building's been there. I think it used to be an old like stable.
So there you go. So the Brighton Bar. Do you have any Brighton Bar memories?
Too many.
Yeah.
Too many. My first Brighton Bar memory was, it was one of the first rock shows I ever went to in my life. And I don't know what band it was, but it was a cover band. He played kind of blues rock.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the first rock show. And I think it was like 1972. Okay. And the place was like a cowboy bar. And they had like a picket fence around the stage. And they had some sort of show that was like rock, but kids could get in.
Okay.
And I think I was, you know, hell, I was 1972. I was like 13 or 14. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go to that. You know? So I went and I walked into this place, the Brighton Bar, and then I watched some horrible band play rock, but that was the first time I went there. And then I didn't think about it till for years later when all of a sudden they started having, they always had bands there, but shitty bands,
right?
Bar bands, the typical Jersey Shore bar bands. But then at one point, I think maybe before Jacko got involved in it or around Jacko, I don't know, at some point in the early 80s, you started seeing some interesting stuff go on. And by the mid 80s to late 80s, it was happening.
Yeah.
You know, against all odds for a coolish place to happen around here.
Uh-huh.
You know, our area was always known for cover bands and stuff. And we actually had original music coming out of there. Laughing Soup Dish was amazing, you know, psychedelic band. And they were all original music. And man, if you want to see something great, just look up Laughing Soup Dish, Teenage Lima Bean, live at the Brighton.
I'm taking this down. Laughing Soup Dish, Teenage Lima Bean.
Teenage Lima Bean.
It's amazing.
Live at the Brighton. It's the best kept secret of the Jersey Shore, the psych scene. There was a psych thing going on down here that went under the radar of the whole Paisley Underground of New York and stuff, but it happened here too. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to remember when that Paisley Underground stuff was. Mid 80s, I think, into the early 90s.
Well, one of the things I wanted to ask you about is the Acid Reich stuff that's just come out.
Oh yeah.
What is it? Mistress of the Perpetual Harvest.
Yes.
Right? Is coming out. So I mean, you at the same time, you know, it's interesting to me that at the same time you're kind of, you know, you do Better Dystopia. It's this covers record going back to those 70s roots. This stuff is coming out too, kind of showing where you were coming from.
Yeah, which was surprisingly the same place, except delivered with a little bit more
more reverb,
a little less aplomb than the actual original.
A lot of well, you know, 88,
No, I
89.
love it. I love it. And I had the most fun doing that stuff. And that was at that time. That was late 80s.
Yeah.
Late 80s, just around the time where we had where Tim Cronin, John McBain, and I all worked in Red Bank within walking distance of each other. And we all worked retail jobs. Tim and John both worked in different record stores, and I worked in a comic book store. So, and all we did was talk music. We just really met each other. I don't know how we didn't meet each other before that, but we had different lives. And we were all in our, mid-20s. And we would just talk about music. And we decided to, Tim asked me to join this band of his and John's called Dog of Mystery, which is amazing, stuff. If you could ever listen to it.
I've seen the video. Yeah.
So, and it was experimental noise and comedy and what else. And they asked me to join that band. And then we played a couple live things, but we couldn't leave it alone. We were really good at just making up bands that we would like to see. Like, I think a band called Acid Reich would be cool. So the name came first. And then the music came when we went to the practice space and we just recorded. And I'd like start a riff or something and go, okay, this is Acid Reich and the name of this song is this. Record it. And that would be it. And then we just finish it it was all on 4-track cassette. And then we'd finish it and put vocals on it like the next night. And Tim would do vocals or I would do vocals and we both. And then go, okay, that's it. All right, that band's out of the way. There's Acid Reich. Next we'll do Nipple Tank. Next we'll do King Fuzz, Heroin Mule, Sugar. None of this stuff was worked on for more than, I'd say, a week and only maybe a couple hours at a time. But it was concept over execution. And it was a really fun way to work. Because sometimes it came out sounding pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this?
That Acid Reich stuff is a freak out. And of course, same era as Love Monster.
Yes. That's why he had asked me to join Dog and Mystery for some live shows because he had heard my Love Monster tape and go, oh, you're just kind of the same stuff that we are. Yeah.
So, very cool.
And that's eventually how Monster Man happened. Eventually one of these nights we got a gig at City Gardens with Jane's Addiction of all people, because a friend of ours who was playing bass in the band at the same time had an in with Randy Now and at City Gardens and goes, somebody canceled out on Jane's Addiction to opening so we can open. And I was like, I don't think they're going to like us, man. We're not really a band. It's just like three guys.
We're not really a band.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
And it was just a concept. It was the concept that was met in the basement every once in a while, and we do our little 4-track deal on it. But we played, and that was the night I remember getting off stage. And that was the night we were riding there. And we had probably done Acid Reich probably like a month before that. So we're riding down there and going, oh, well, who are we going to be tonight? What's the name of the band? We're going to be Acid Reich or King Fuzz or Nipple Tank or Heroin Mule or Madness is the Mongoose? What are we going to be? Dog of Mystery? Who knows? No, it can't be Dog of Mystery because Dog of Mystery has this person in it. It's all in our minds. And then my ex-wife said, started talking about a toy for some other reason about remember when you hid your monster magnet? Where did you put your monster magnet? Because it's an old toy. And I was like, that's it. That's our name for tonight. And we went over with the crowd, liked it. And when we got off stage, the guy behind the soundboard, like some old hair farmer sound guy, guy's been around since the 70s.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, man, the return of drug rock. Cool. And I was like, drug rock. And then I put it on our next single, Drug Rock.
There you go. Wow.
So, I often think, what if it had been Acid Reich? It easily could have been anything.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. It was Madness of the Mongoose. That's a good one.
Madness is, yeah, we worked at a comic book store, so I was just reading off titles.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's a good one. You take me through your discovery of rock and roll. So you go to the Brighton Bar at 13, 14 years old. How much of a fan of rock and roll are you at that point?
Oh, I was completely devoted. Yeah, that's all I thought about. Yeah.
So what turned you on to it in the first place?
The radio, and the AM radio.
Okay.
So I started listening to AM radio when I was 6 or 7. My family was into. I had older brothers and sisters, so they were like listening to the Beach Boys and the Beatles and Rolling Stones and shit.
Okay.
So I always heard the Beatles and the Stones around the house, and so I'd listen to AM radio, and I remember first trying to listen to it, and my memories go back to probably around 65. And 65 was a good year. It was a good year for rock and roll. It was like the year after the Beatles came out, and things were starting to go in a very interesting direction. Of course, I didn't realize the difference because old rock and roll, Elvis and stuff like that, that seemed like a million years away, but that was only 6 years before that.
Yeah.
But music changed a lot in the 60s. It changed every year.
Every year.
Not like it is today, where it just sits there like a boat on the ocean. So I remember listening in 65, hearing sounds like 8 Miles High. I remember hearing that going, what's this? Like the birds, like what's all this sitar sound?
Mm-hmm.
And Painted Black by the Rolling Stones. I was like, this is a cool song. It didn't really settle into me as a huge, like, I'm going to go buy this stuff until about 68, when I was old enough, I was 11, and I saw Planet of the Apes, and when that was new, it was a new movie.
Uh-huh.
You see Planet of the Apes when you're 11 years old, it's a mind blower.
Yeah.
I'm like,
it's going to make an impact on you. Yeah.
It was Earth, it was Earth the whole time. You have to be 11, and like 11 or 12 is the age where your mind.
That's it. Hits you right there. Yeah.
No matter what generation you're in, like 11 or 12, you're like, fuck.
It's true.
So I was lucky enough, or unlucky enough, depending on like what people's taste in music is, to be there at a time when my conscience fully opened around 69, that the music industry had gone nuts. So all of a sudden, within a couple of years, it went from, the Beatles and Stones to like Jimi Hendrix, Blue Cheer, and then Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, Hawkwind, King Crimson, Yes, a million other bizarro, strange things. I mean, there was so much happening in music back then. It was too much to be contained by AM radio. That's why the record store did so well, and that's when the album took off.
Mm-hmm.
Albums were being played on FM radio, and FM was just an old leftover from classical music stations that they weren't being used. So people would just play freeform stuff, and I'd listen all night. Like get home from school, just going into high school, or like 8th grade, and then around 10 o'clock, you like go to bed and listen to my little radio, and they play like whole album of like, oh, here's a band that we found called Hawkwind, and this is the first album that just came out. So that's how I discovered it, like that. And then going down to the record store and just looking at albums. They didn't promote albums in advance back then.
Mm-hmm.
Like they weren't promoted in advance. Albums just hit the stores, and there'd be like a little poster with it or not, and they would just land in the rack. So it was primal. The primal days of, the only stuff they promoted was top 10 stuff, which had been going on since the 50s. Like, here's new Elvis record and blah, blah, blah. But the rock stuff, like Jethro Tull, like how do you promote something like that? It's so weird.
Yeah.
It would just show up in these record stores, and record stores were more like bookstores back then. They were carefully curated by, there was always like a couple of hipsters in there, along with the old guy that owned the place. They'd go like, look, there's a lot going on. And if you were nice, they would help you. But most of the time, for me, it was just pick an album cover, look at it, look at the names of the songs, look at the instrumentation, and go, yeah, this looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, I mean, you look at the album covers back then from the late 60s, the album covers were really good. So, and they looked so much different from anything else that had ever come out before. So everything looked kind of, had a literary feel to it, when music did not have that before. It did not have a literary feel. I mean, most of the albums that came out before that, 50s and 60s, had all kinds of copy all over it, like, blah, featuring the new hit, blah, 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 you know, and like, you know, action shots. These would just have a, you know, just a painting, like,
well, I mean, part of that,
Crimson.
part of that has to be thinking of the album format too, right? Like, it's a longer format than like the singles or the label compiled collection of singles on an LP.
Right. I mean, certainly there were albums before, but they were just kind of boistered by filler, like cover, like a lot of cover songs. So we don't get full albums. So that whole thing didn't really come into. It had to be shoved down people's throats by like Dylan. I mean, Blonde on Blonde, and the Beatles, like Revolver and Rubber Soul, and these were quite different than other things. I mean, they were sequenced as an album. Like, you must listen, you know, it's like, please listen to this from A to B, and so forth. And Sgt. Pepper's like just really just blew the world's mind, because it seemed to be a concept album, and no one could understand what that concept was. It wasn't, but it seemed to be.
Right.
But man, I mean, that was like a big bang that started kind of started that whole thing, which people replicated to this day.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get that email every day.
Yeah, I mean, it was so much fun, man. It was like to hear sounds I never heard before, and to realize that no one had heard them before. Like, nothing sounded like Black Sabbath before Sabbath. Nothing. You know, I mean, it's just like there's the world before it, and then there's the world after it. And so when I was 12, I'm like, this is for me. Like, this is it. I'm going to Black Sabbath Planet. And at the same time, there was a bunch of different planets to go to. There was Yes Planet, which sounded completely different.
Yep.
They were not in any way, from songwriting style to arrangement style to even the sound of the record, there was no standardization amongst these albums. Unlike today, you know, where people have certain standards, you can hear the standards through all the records. You can hear the same plugins. You can hear it's like, oh, okay, there's an old amp. There's a, you know, these guys got this sound, they got this sound, they borrowed a little of this. Back then, they were just making it up. So, I mean, they would configure the studios differently. Some people had different tape machines. It wasn't like everyone had the same computers or anything. So everything sounded different. And I think they recorded and wrote their stuff according to whatever standard they had started. So that's how you could have a band like Yes and a band like Jethro Tull, Alice Cooper, Sly and the Family Stone, Black Sabbath, all in the same record collection. You go, okay, which extraordinarily different thing do you want? I mean, outrageously different.
Yeah.
Like, this is really different, and all like well composed and stuff. It was fun. I thought it was going to be that way forever, and then things kind of stalled in the mid '70s. That's why punk rock happened.
Well, it was that Next Generation.
Next Generation, and I think the generation would have been fine with it. But what happened was FM radio turned into more like AM radio, and they stopped accepting the business model change. And it's all economics. It didn't have anything to do with a generational thing as much as it had an economic thing. That one little sweet spot where FM radio played anything, and there was a bunch of kids discovering really weird and finely done music in different styles. FM came out and put playlists behind it and started working towards album-oriented rock. This is like '73 when it happened. And they started playing just the stuff. This is pre-algorithmic algorithm. They took tests, you know, they took actual things, went out and go, what do you like the best? What do you like the best? What do you like the best? Blah, blah, blah. And like, we're only going to play this stuff. Any of this fringe stuff, if it doesn't get like 100 hits, you know, meaning we ask you, then we just won't leave that. We'll play that at night. But we're going to get a playlist down. Instead of this playing whole album stuff, we'll just play a couple tracks off the record. And they pushed it, and it worked. It went to the lowest common denominator. And that's how we got stuff like Boston. You know, like, there's no mistake that things went from really cool in 1970 to real shit in 76.
Right.
You know, all of a sudden it's like, well, 3 years ago, we got all this wacky shit, Amadul 2, experimental prog rock, and now we got to listen to Boston and Kiss. It was like, that was not a natural phenomenon. That was a business phenomenon.
Right.
And then everything just, you know, by the time, I think, you know, flash forward a bunch of years, the crazy times were over. Big monolithic rock, stadium rock happened. And that was, you know, just about as predictable as you could imagine. The Eagles, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Yeah, okay, fill up a stadium and do that. But there was a certain amount of people that fought back, and that's where punk rock happened. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was there too, at CB's. That was cool. It was cool. It was like there was always something next. It's like, how do you battle? Like, how do you keep things cool? You know, there was always somebody like talking about, well, okay, if rock's going to go this way, if it's all of a sudden it's being run by these big corporate guys, because believe it or not, it wasn't corporate in the 70s. It was like those people that ran the record companies were so small compared to the record companies that came later. They were practically artists themselves. Mm-hmm. That went away. So then the punks came out and was like, all right, fuck this. If we can't find a good thing that's coming out, we'll make it ourselves. And people who never thought about playing guitar before picked it up and started playing.
So how, I mean, okay. So we land.
I'm talking a lot.
No. I'm just trying to think. Because I mean, everything now is so decentralized, and yet everything now is also so streamlined, commodified.
Sure.
Trying to think of the word, but algorithmic might be what I'm getting at. So,
and that's the artist. That's not, and you know, it's not the corporation's fault anymore. Now you can't even blame the money. You have to blame the artist.
Well,
they choose to be this way. I mean, there's an internet democracy that allows everybody to do what they want, just because they can't make a living off it. But you know, it's like it's strange. Sometimes I don't think rock was built to last this long.
That's the other question. I mean, right? Maybe it was.
I mean, well, what's a guy like me doing around? I mean, 64 years old. I shouldn't be invited to the party. You know, I mean, if I would ask my 14-year-old self, my 14-year-old self would kick my 64-year-old self out of would say, "Fuck you, old dude."
Right. Well,
I'm gonna fucking do what you do better. But guess what? Nobody's doing exactly what I did. So that's why I keep doing it. It's like not exactly the same way. So I'm like, all right, am I just regurgitating old 70s shit, or am I adding my own personality to it? Is there a reason? Mm-hmm. Even though I'm not making up any new music, which is ridiculous because nobody makes up new music. There's only so many notes.
Right.
What am I still doing here? And what is rock still doing here? Because there's always a chance for it to get, like you said, there's always a chance for things to break through.
You know? Well, okay. So what are you still doing?
Making myself happy, I think.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Shouldn't that be enough? I mean, isn't that?
It's enough. And when you get to a certain age, you know, it better be enough. You know, you can't be not quite as idealistic as you are when you're 14.
Right.
You know, and as you step up the ladder towards experience, your idealism, you know, it doesn't change, but it gets, let's say, readjusted or reprioritized. And you start to wonder, Like, what does it all mean? You know, it's existential.
Yes.
For me, I still think this is what makes me come alive. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like for just as a human being, like making music and making stuff and playing live makes me come alive. So it's a matter of survival. I wish it was a world that had open ears and I could play with a bunch of people in an industry that was having fun with internet democracy and the way to get all the stuff. But like you said, it's shrunk it to the point where these poor bands nobody can make any money.
Right.
You're not rewarded for your art either. You're more rewarded for your merchandise than you are for anything else. That's got to put a mind fuck on people when you say, you know something, your music is worth nothing. We're going to put you behind a paywall and we're going to keep the money.
Right.
We're going to put you in Spotify and Apple Music and we're not going to tell you what you're worth because we can't even figure it out. The song, the convenience of songs, shuffling, playlists that are created by these things, put the artist ever on the outside. When people just say, I'm going to rent some music. You know, so Spotify is like, I'm going to rent some music.
Right.
What do you mean rent? What does that say to the artist? You know, it says you're not important. There's
right.
more than enough.
Here's a fraction of a penny. I think is what it says. Yeah.
We can't really understand them. He's trying. These people came in, they want to listen to music. It's like being in a cover band or something, you know, or like, hey, okay, you kids, you want to play tonight? Play some surf music. The people like surf music, but we don't play surf music. Well, then you can't play here. Yeah. We know that people like music. We don't really care why they do. We didn't really want to find out the reasons before. We've got a little clicker here. It's called an algorithm. And this clicker says that this many people listen to it. That's fine. You know, nobody reviews records. Like very few people review records the way you do. Like when you review a record, you know what I mean? It's like you review in a way where you're actually listening to stuff. You haven't gone bitter yet either. You know, that's coming.
Well,
okay, maybe you've gone a little bitter. But you know what? You know exactly what I mean. You know, it's just like they're just like whatever. What's happened to metal is the most bizarre thing. You know,
how so?
I think big time metal is very conservative in its thinking, and very. There's no identity. The singers share this similar identity. There's not a big push for singers to be original. Mm-hmm. It's like the last thing they thought of was to put an original voice in there. They're like, let's get somebody who could shout. No, it's got to be, it's like, and I'm not talking about like stoner metal. I wouldn't even know what to call this, but I would call it fantasy metal or that kind of like, it's like extreme metal with Nordic themes or it's very Euro and it's like, dude, you've been screaming now Cookie Monster style for 35 fucking years. You think that's edgy? You've completely divorced yourself from any kind of humanity. You're not a human. You're a disposable. I could get a fucking machine to do what you do. And they dress up in these clothes and they go out and they do it. And do I blame the bands? No, I blame the idiots that listen to it. They're like guys that fucking buy chewing gum, or buy candy bars. It's a Milky Way. Okay, that's the Three Musketeers. Dude, they're both fucking chocolate. You know what I mean? Are you such a fucking moron that you're going to sit there and argue which is better, a Three Musketeers than a Milky Way? Don't you have better things to offer? I like this band because they do this. This guy has this. They don't have anything different from each other at all. It's the same voice. The same identity. Whoa! So it's no fun.
It is marketable, though.
Oh, of course. Well, of course it's marketable. Shit has always been marketable. That's and that's an answer that it's marketable. That answer, which works today, did not work when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. If somebody were to say that, oh man, this band sounds exactly like Black Sabbath. You'd go like, well, fuck you. They should get their own thing. Yeah, but it's marketable. It's doing good. Oh, okay, that's fine then. So since when is money is now the defining of quality? You know, no, it never was in art. You know, it never, not supposed to be. I know it's commercial art, but Christ, I mean, we got to the point where, I don't know, it seems like people want quantity over quality. I'd rather have 10 bands that all work in the same, whatever it would be, whatever, and pick fly shit out of pepper between those two bands. I like the logo more. This guy's got a cooler logo. These guys' version of the Apocalypse is better than these guys' version of Apocalypse. I like this growl a little better than this guy's growl. It's a fucking growl. There's no difference. I think people like to collect it. They like to hoard it and collect it and go. They like to have a nice choice. Just like, you know, us, again, the candy bar thing. Get on the stand going like, I'm going to buy a bunch of candy bars. And I like them all. I like chocolate. But and that seems to be fine. And it does make a lot of money. You know, I think it makes a lot of money, or at least enough. More money than I do.
Enough that somebody's doing it. Yeah. I don't know.
It's what people want from music. I think people want from, it seems like from metal, they want a representation of their version of metal across the board amongst all their band. And if the band takes any chances and goes too far away from that, they're out of the club. But you know, it's like, oh well, they're not this anymore. And so it's strange just to see what happens. I just
playing the style, you mean?
Yeah, I mean,
right? Like playing to, like, I'm a death metal band. This is what death metal is, so that's what I'm gonna play.
Right. And like when I was a kid, the people who were in death metal or you know, because I was through that too. In the first days of extreme death metal with like Napalm Death and stuff, those guys had more of their own identity. You could tell the difference between those bands. You know, they were raggy. They were really there. It wasn't you know, the pumped up, you know, ultra compressed Pro Tool stuff that we have today in those things. It was raggy, it was shitty, and you could tell the difference between the singers, and even between the roars, by the way, the screams. Now it just seems like there's very little difference at the top of that, in those kind of things, and it just seems like perhaps the people who listen to it, it's a cultural thing, it's a societal thing, that it's kind of treated like sports. Like, yeah, here's the NFL metal. You know, all the NFL, you know, all the big teams. You know, you get your different logos and stuff, but they all basically do the same thing. They're not asking for anybody to reinvent the touchdown. Right. You know, they want a touchdown the old-fashioned way. You go back and you throw it hard. They don't want to go like, oh, this guy could fly and give a touchdown, or make up a new I know I sound like a crazy person. But perhaps that's all people have time for anymore. You know, they want to categorize. You know, and they like the categories. People love categories. I never like categories because it's limited, you know, and I mean, I don't mind a certain amount of categorization, but if you can get about 3 different ways to go, like in my band, I always like, they're like, what kind of band are you? And I'm like, well, I'm a rock band, or I'm a psychedelic rock band. And if I had to break it down, I could say, okay, I'm a psychedelic rock band that at this point on this album will emphasize the rock part. On this album, emphasize the psychedelic part. Or whatever. Never colored too far out the lines in Monster Matic, but a lot farther outside of the lines than a lot of bands.
Yeah.
You know? And at least try to give a different vibe and some melody and stuff in there. That's what I can understand about them. I guess I can understand about the modern thing, is that there's not a lot of time for your audience to grow with you now. the bands really have to make a stand on what they are. They have to brand themselves. You know, branding's very important. You know,
Mm-hmm.
logo is more important than ever. It's even more important than in the days of Kiss. So when I look out there, you know, I'll look at different sites, but there's no one place I can go for overall interest across the board from one style of music to another. You know, there's no one place I can go, oh, where's all the interesting stuff, regardless of genre?
Mm-hmm.
I have to go all over the universe to find it, and it's kind of hard to find. That's why I like the Obelisk, because the Obelisk is, you always come out left field with stuff. You know, you're not afraid for all that stuff. It's a great reference source for me, I have to say. I appreciate the work.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
really
appreciate.
do. It's a
I
lot of work.
appreciate your work. So
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm always looking to be surprised. You know, like really surprised. Like, you know, like, why doesn't Billie Eilish do a fucking power metal song? Why the fuck doesn't Beyonce come out there and scream that the world's in flames? Like, what the fuck happened to the artists? I mean, it's been done before.
Yeah.
You know, that's all it would take. If Billie Eilish would come out tomorrow and just go, fuck yeah, and did this fucking amazing power fucking metal song, the world would freak the fuck out. And everybody would go, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But no. And when people do threaten to do it, they do it half-assed. Like, and the writers write them up. It was like Miley Ray Cyrus was like, I read this thing on her, like, oh, she's going rock. She's going 80s rock. No, she didn't. How could a writer actually say that?
Yeah.
Because she wore an 80s rock bandana. They're like, oh, she changed her music. Like, the music hasn't changed at all. They don't have one thing to say about anything except for themselves. No mixing and matching of genres, no surprising foul-ups. Maybe that's what it is. Let's not fuck up. But, I mean, it seems to me that the world's ready for it. You know, I think they're ready for their artists to take weird chances and do weird shit.
Are they?
At this point, after...
Like a mass audience. Is a mass audience... What would a mass... okay.
Yeah, I know. Keep going. I know.
How do you engage a mass audience with spontaneity at this point? When, like...
Shock.
Let's say American popular
culture. It would have to be shock. That's the only way.
Okay. Yeah. Right. But I mean, like, look at like the crux of American popular culture is like Marvel movies for 20 years, and I mean, and what but I mean, right? Like disposable everything. So let's how do you even create an idea of something as crucial when everything is supposed to be epic and none of it is?
You have to throw yourself on the cross, you know? I mean, someone's gonna have to, they would have to make a point and sacrifice themselves, and I don't think they probably wouldn't be worth sacrificing. They're not gonna move the needle. You know, I mean, the next big thing is it's going to be a blowback against political correctness, and it's going to be really ugly.
I mean, you could certainly argue it already has been.
Well, it already has been, but I think it's going to be by more people, by normal people going like, I just can't exist. We can't exist in such a suffocating society between two polar opposites. You know, because we exist in shades of gray, not black and white. And the internet, which so many people pay attention to, isn't really set up for anything but black and white. You know, so internet's all about heroes, villains, and victims. That's all they can really handle. You know, we have a hero, we have a victim, you know, we have a villain. Okay, good. That'll get us through a news cycle, keep the talk and stuff. Any kind of explanation on the actual gray areas of life. It's just hard, you know. It's hard to say that people have different emotions about things. It's hard to put that in an article without getting someone mad while everyone's looking at you, you know. And it's like, you know, how can you say, like, you know, we're talking about I was talking to somebody about this song on the cover record called Mr. Destroyer by this band called Poop, which I think is a great song.
Great
and
song.
I was like, wow, look, it's Mr. Destroyer. It's like my 15-year-old dream to have a song like Mr. Destroyer. And it was, someone was asking me, like, why do you like it? I said, because it hits both sides of me, you know. On one hand, I can't really tell what the lyrics are doing, which is okay. A lot of songs I don't. But it sounds to me like it's warning against abuse of power, yet they deliver it in such a way that all I could do is imagine Godzilla breathing fire down on Tokyo and like blowing it up, you know, just like in the movies. And the first thing he said was, "What do you got against the Japanese?" And I was like, look, the world, rock is not going to survive if people start judging it like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, this tight shit. It's like most kids I know want to blow up the world, you know? And the only reason they would say Tokyo is because they saw it on TV. It's like, it's not kids' jobs and it's not people's job to filter through like some political PR person, their speech. We all know that people talk this way. The world is not going to change because a bunch of internet people want people to be nice to each other. It's not going to happen. In fact, there's going to be a blowback that said, we want normality. So you're going to either have to grow a thick skin or get the fuck out of my face. I mean, if you can't tell the difference between good or bad by a person's demeanor, and you're going to judge them on everything they write down, that's fascism. It's reverse fascism. I mean, it's moral fascism. You can't do it. You can't do it. It's freedom of speech. Where does that leave art? In a very weird position. I'm afraid to say. I'm afraid to make a joke. I'm afraid to. You know, it's like, it's almost as if we set us up now in a moral panic that used to be reserved for rock and roll bands and stuff, but now it applies to everyone. And you can see that I think in rock and roll bands and entertainers, they want to stay far away from that because they know they're going to get shot down. So how can you do the shock and how can you move things along and have interesting art if everyone's afraid of getting in trouble? It's like, I don't know how that's going to be. You know, and of course, I'm not asking for people to be assholes. I mean, intelligent people know the difference of walking up to the edge or not. Certainly comedians do and have forever. You know, and without comedy over the years, I don't know how we could have dealt with stuff like the Holocaust or World War II. Just ask any Jewish comedian who was born in the 20th century how they got through the bloody 20th century with 2 world wars. And, you know, it's like, you fucking go on and you laugh. Right now, art seems to me in a place where it's being challenged to play somebody's game. You know, and it's a game that's not laid out by the people, but laid out by just a group of very, very active internet people. It's not your average person. So, I mean, I thought we were supposed to be about average people, you know, average smart people. Not completely dumb, but not completely smart either, you know. Somewhere in between your basic hayseed piece of shit, you know, Trump voter, and your Ivy League, Harvard know-it-all. Right. Those are the people that traditionally have voted the most in between those two. Right. And now what we see is like, what seems to me, those people have been turned into victims because they're afraid to speak. So the people that get the most media hits are either the hayseed or the intellectual.
The extremes.
The extreme. Because they, well, sure makes good copy. Keeps everybody fighting on TV. A lot of money in that arguing, you know.
It's true. Somebody's making it. I'm not. Somebody else.
No, I mean, I wouldn't even think of. You know, I mean, I don't know even what kind of mentality you would have to go into something like that and go, all right, I'm going to make my money off of inciting anger and moral outrage. Yeah. It's like that stuff was left to like crazy politicians and religious people, you know, of which
Yes.
I am neither.
Yes. 100%.
So you look for it. I guess maybe sometimes I look for some sort of blowback in the traditional places, which would be rock and roll, but not there. And I shouldn't be surprised, you know. I guess it'll go on, and like people, like the new normal is normal people, or people that can actually decide on issues in their head and what they think is funny or not funny, given a certain context. People who actually take things in context are now the last person in line.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you actually take the time to put things in context and judge minimally on what's going on in a situation, you're like, you're not doing your job. No, you have to lash out. You know, the last bunch of years has been, you know, started with the Trump thing, lashing out, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was countered by the anti-Trump thing, equally lashing out, but just the other side of the coin.
Right.
And I'm sitting in the middle going like, man, this isn't cool. It's like, we're smarter than this. You're going to get pulled into that game?
Apparently.
Fuck you. No, fuck you. You know,
Right.
it's like,
Right.
no, fuck you.
Right. Apparently.
I never did anything bad in my life. It's like, holy shit. I don't know how things are going to work out. That's why I keep wanting to leave the planet.
It's a good argument for it. I mean, you throw that and environmental devastation together. I think you have a compelling pamphlet for leaving the planet.
Right. And it's so, the funny thing is, like, you know, and at the end of the day, the one concrete thing that almost everyone can agree on or should agree on is the one thing that's still up in the air. And it's like this science fiction, once science fiction, the reality that we're boiling. Right. The planet is heating up. You still can't, people still can't get together on that.
No, that's amazing. Yeah, no, I know. 50 years later.
You're gonna let's go in and talk about transgender rights for 6 months and fight each other and kill each other. But how many times do they mention climate change? None. That's like, no offense to transgender, but the world's burning.
Right.
Like, we'll take care of them. Don't worry. Nobody's gonna, you know, we'll let them use the bathroom. But for the love of fuck, can we get our eyes on the prize here?
But that's it. Those cultural issues, that culture war, fucking sells. It fucking sells, man. Every time.
It sells more than I ever thought it would, because that used to be not the place to go. The old news system knew that would cause an uproar, but now people are making money off uproar.
Corporate news.
Yeah. Corporate news. Polarization is the new, is the model. You know, Roger Ailes made it up, and now, and the ungodly horrorness is that everyone else followed, except, you know, who wears the white hat, who wears the black hat, good guy, bad guy stuff. They're all bad guys. Yeah, there are no good guys there. I don't know how we got into this.
Whatever, man. I just roll with it. It's cool. You're what? Mindfucker was what? 2018?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're 3 years out from Mindfucker, and of course all the touring went last year. How do you feel about that record at this point?
I feel like I should have poured more into it.
How so?
I should have been well, production wise, it should have been louder and nastier, and I should have pushed the political angle a little harder on it. I wrote it when Trump was coming into office, and it was my first thing, and I was like, I don't want to get. I just feel like I didn't do my duty. I should have stressed that, you know, I should have really just you know, the world is fucking crazy. Like every song should have been called "The World's Fucking Crazy." You know, every song.
A concept album.
It's a nice collection of songs, but it's it doesn't really sound. It's okay, but I'm pretty hard on myself. I'm never happy with anything. Bunch of good songs on it. Cool. I think it could have been a little heavier. I'm happy with the new one because it's a very, very honest record, which wasn't taken out of, I didn't move it around. I made it in the same place. I made it in a little box at Bob Pentella's place, mixed it, didn't bring it to some place else to mix, and all that kind of stuff. So right now I'm pretty happy with that. Plus I don't have to judge myself on the songs. I already love the song.
That helps.
Yeah. So it's like Mr. Destroyer. Of course, I love that song. Now,
right,
if I had written a song called Mr. Destroyer, I'd be like, really? Mr. Destroyer? You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
As a writer, you probably know exactly.
I know exactly what you mean.
I had done that.
Oh,
but then if
right.
I had done
you've done it, wow, this is garbage. Yeah, totally.
Shit.
Tell me how it feels to sing "Learning to Die" into like onto a record, right? Like that song, man. Just those. But I mean, all right, all bullshit aside, like you nail that song. Like the vibe on "Learning to Die" is right on from
Thanks.
If you like imagine Monster Magnet doing that Dust song in your head and you go past it, right? So tell me how as someone obviously who appreciates the track and the original, how did it feel for you to put yourself into it?
It's fucking great. I mean,
right?
First
that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, it was like this thing was I mean, that's my home. I mean, I bought that record when it came out. I forget what year it came out, but I couldn't have been more than 13 or 14.
71 or 72.
Yeah. And I was just like, holy shit, this is the most exhilarating, the Dust style. I mean, all that thing. It's like the way he played guitar with those downstrokes. When I started playing guitar years later, I was always thinking of Dust when I wrote songs, because that guy plays his rhythm downstroking, almost like Johnny Ramone, which is interesting because Marky Bell was in it. But
right.
When I sang it in the studio, I was just like, I hope I can get it. I hope I can sing that high. And I went in there with Bob, and Bob's like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I'm going to save it till the end because I don't know if I could do it. Man, we could pitch it down.
Right.
Maybe we could pitch it down and I could sing it to that. We'd record it. But, I picked up a guitar and I tuned it down a half step, which is many people do when they go to cover a song. I was like, it's not the same. It's not the same. The strings don't have the tension. It's got to be that regular E, blah, 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 all this kind of fucking music voodoo that goes on in your head when you're in the studio. Like, it's just not the same.
Right.
It's got to be the same. It's got to have that same. I'll just try it. And then when I sang it, I opened my throat and it came out. I was like, yeah! It was so much fun.
Yeah.
But I didn't have that many takes in me. I had to get it in like 2 or 3 takes. I think I only sang it 3 times. And then we used like the last one and like most of the last take with like the first verse, I think, was from the first take. So as opposed to maybe I'll sing it like 4 or 5 times every other song and then just pick the best from what's going on.
Right.
It was fucking awesome. I mean, that song is just listen to it. Yeah. Those guys, even at this late stage of the game, still sound fresh to me. I mean, they don't really, out of all the bands that came out in that hard rock craze of like 68 to 72, they're the only hard rock trio that doesn't really, really lift too much from Sabbath, Cream, Zeppelin, or any of that. They don't sound like that. They sound like their own thing.
No.
I don't hear any direct Sabbath riffs or Zeppelin riffs or anything.
Cactus a little bit. I mean, them and Cactus, Long Island, right? Is the Long Island connection, I guess.
Sir Lord Baltimore. That's the band.
Mm-hmm.
I almost covered them too, but I don't think I could do it. I was like, I can't do that guy's voice justice. He sings like a fucking all wrong and bad cool. Like so wrong. And I was like, I can't do it.
Right. Next time. Next covers record. Have you been writing?
A little bit, but it's all really weird stuff. So I have to make a decision whether to go in the in the let's disappoint the Monster Magnet fans direction, or you know, do a straight up some sort of straight up rock record, or a mixture of the two. You know, the older I get, the more I just want to do what I feel, and you know, the only time I get psyched to write real rock songs is when I'm on tour, because then you realize the value of it.
Right.
The value of like heavy music and propellant music, to me, really stands out when you're on stage in front of people and you really have to like, well, we gotta have to push these motherfuckers back a couple seats in the rows. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, you actually realize it's like being out in the desert in a monster truck. Like, I have to fight the other monster truck. But when I'm home, I don't want to drive a monster truck, you know, and crush things. You know, I want to get all weird and cool and, you know, old and strange. So what I like to do is like write a bunch now and then go out on tour and get that spirit, because I know it'll come back. Because, oh, of course, you have to crush. It's time to kill someone, and see how that works out. And then put a record out after I do like a tour.
Okay.
I'd like to do a tour as quick as possible. I don't know how that's going to work out, but we are going to do celebrate Spine of God's 30th anniversary by doing a show in Asbury Park, by doing Spine of God and Tab at and that should be announced soon. It's going to be at the House of Independence on New Year's Eve of all time.
Where's that House of Independence?
In Asbury Park. It's a nice venue. It's like just a 500-seat place. It's a little box, nice, comfortable.
I haven't been down there in a while.
Good sound.
Nice.
Good sound. It's like the right size.
Okay.
So I'll do that, and that would be cool. You know, somebody had asked me, they're like, look, man, it's been 30 years since, you know, it's like almost to the day that it was released. You should do something. I was like, yeah, you're right.
It's true. It's true. You should do. That's a good show.
Alec, our bass player, is like chopping at the bit to do it too. He's like, he goes, I'll do it. You know, he really want it.
And are you hearing anything about hitting the road again, like touring next year?
Yeah, well, I know I've got a European set thing in place, all booked, but that's not until June of 22.
Okay.
And that's like big festivals like Hellfest. We'll do Hellfest and Grass Pop and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And plus a bunch of headline shows, UK and all that stuff. So that's all done. In between there, I figured out some sort of American thing. I'd like to get something in the winter.
Okay.
But now that things are open back up, I mean, every band and his brother is just standing in line like, put me in, coach.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody's trying to get out when they can. Yeah.
It'll probably be probably one of the best, most profitable years in live music anyone's ever seen. Unless the Delta variant comes back.
Delta variant. Oh.
No, it's time for the alien invasion now.
Hey, the report, right, is out. Is
today.
Today. Today's the day. I haven't read anything yet about the
Come
aliens.
on, give us something good.
Wouldn't that be great? It's like, no, we were just fucking with you guys. Aliens are everywhere.
You know, I hate to tell you this, but it's all true. You know.
Right.
So everything you've ever worried about, from aliens to anything you've ever worried about that you always thought was, nah, that's too crazy, no longer true. It's all crazy. Every conspiracy theory you've ever thought of, true.
Lizard people everywhere. They live, right? The John Carpenter.
They live, like whatever.
Right? It's all just real. It's fine. No big deal.
And you have to bring a child up in the middle of all this.
Can you believe it? I know.
Don't pay any attention. I'm like fucking around with you. It's like
you're not wrong.
Whatever. I know.
You're not wrong.
I'm just like, I'm glad I have my kid.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's
like as long as we can keep the politics in a minor spot, you know, because I mean, no matter what the politics are in this country, the way this country's lasted for as long as it did without everything going completely out of control, because regardless of our faults, America's been a pretty decent place to live for a lot of people for a long time. And in comparison to to old Europe were positively good guys. I mean, if you look at civilization before, we're talking, mass murder, like, 60 million people, 11, Stalin kills 11 million people, of his own people and stuff. We've got a lot to be looking forward to, built on the old American style if it's adjusted in a certain way. And we could do better, a lot better, and we will. But if politics is still the central force of conflict, I don't think the country's going to survive the way we know it. We're going to have to split up into two countries. And that's no fun.
Well, I mean, that's the same shit that happened in Europe. Right? It's tribes.
Exactly.
It's just tribes.
Tribes. The internet really, really fuels the whole tribal thing, because it's like what silos, Now we can get information silos. Tribes, and allows people to not work it out. Not working out face to face, which is danger, and who knows what's going to happen. But I like to say I have faith, but pretty crazy, man. I thought that this kind of shit would happen years later. I didn't think it was going to happen so fast. I thought we were on a track of pretty boring track of, more corporate stuff, but the more corporate bigwig stuff, but they would never allow it to get to such a cheap shit, divisive thing. Like, why fuck up the economy? Why fuck up American politics? It's not that important to these guys. It would be more important to the corporate powers that be that if we were a happy bunch of dummies buying everything.
Right. Well, we're still buying everything.
We're still buying everything, but it's too much. It leads to too much collateral damage in the long run. It just didn't seem like good business sense to me. I was ready for what?
Not sustainable.
How could it be?
Economic.
Yeah. Well, maybe they did. It's just nobody. What it proves to me is that nobody's really in charge. It's all chaos. There's no real conspiracy theories. No one's really got their finger on the pulse of anything. It's basically chaos.
That's almost comforting.
No, it's horrible.
But I mean, compared to, right, like
a mustache twirling villain. Right?
Yes. Compared to there being one centralized malevolent force in the universe. Yeah, chaos is right. At least you got a chance with chaos. You
do have a chance with chaos, and if you say it's all chaos, you could say that life finds a way.
See?
What movie was that from?
Life Finds a Way was
not very good. Oh, Jurassic Park. Okay, it was Jurassic Park.
Yes.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yes.
I'd rather quote Paul Newman or something, but I have to check.
Well,
all right, Jeff Goldblum. Life finds a way, meaning life that will find a way, and that basically is I still believe truly that there are more people in this country that don't want to fight, that would rather just get on with it, than people who do. So I would like to think of the world populated by right-thinking people. Human-thinking people, right-thinking people, human-thinking people that go, something. If you bring too much politics and too much idealism into anything, you're going to wind up hurting people. We're heading towards the most practical time in history, meaning we have practical tools that allow us to unearth the facts and the dimensions of things we have to do almost to the exact point. It could be boring and a little bit zombifying, but at the same time, we know more now what's going to cause damage than what's not. I'm prepared for that. I wasn't prepared for people to accept, like, a Republican Party that would accept damage. They're almost suicidal.
Yeah.
Let's just be crazy. See what happens. It's like, dude, I've never seen anything like it. Believing in conspiracy theories and running them up a flagpole as a political thing. Like, this is really, it's suicide.
Yeah. But at the same time, they're too afraid to not do it, because then maybe they lose power.
We'll see what happens.
Yes.
Well, they ain't got nothing because they've got nothing behind it. That's all they've got because they certainly don't have talent.
No.
You know, it's not like, at least the Democrats have talent behind. You know, there's a lot of talented people in the Democratic Party. I mean, there's a lot of just fucking, you know, internet jizz offs too. But there's a lot of talented people that have worked in politics before and in government, and they've got something to add. I mean, it's if you're going to have to err on the side of humanity, the Republicans seem to be on the err on the side of destruction, flames, kill.
Yes, I
didn't make money on that.
I don't know, but they do because I don't know, man.
It's the damnedest thing I ever saw. I mean, it's like I was ready for anything but this. Like, we'll just go all the way down. We don't even have a master plan. Let's just keep shredding and pissing on everything until something changes.
Right. And then, you know, and then they could say they were there the whole time and it won't matter anymore.
That's what they're going to say, but I mean, how long can they pull this stuff off? I mean, even the hayseeds are not going to believe them after a while.
I don't know.
I mean, or what are we going to do with these people in these
I don't know,
people?
man. If you
what are we going to do with these dumb people?
If you spent 50 years systematically dismantling like social infrastructure, like,
you're right.
Isn't that kind of what you get? Right? Is someone who's willing to just be like, okay, no, you're right. Burn it all down and let's make that happen. As long as, you know, I got a job or whatever. Like, I don't,
where's the other part of the plan?
There isn't one.
No, there isn't.
There isn't one. There isn't a plan. It's not about like,
it's a death.
It's not about making a world. Like, it's not thinking that far ahead. It's just it's fucked. It's fucked.
Stupid. I can't see how anybody who could be in a multi-corporate, you know, leaders of this world going like, how the fuck are we going to monetize this if these bunkheads still doing this shit? It's like, it just shows you.
We're going to sell them tiki torches. We're going to sell tiki torches to white supremacists. We're going to sell fucking flags that say fuck Biden, Trump 2024 to fucking Nazis.
Yeah. And sell more big fucking trucks and pepper spray players to like upper middle class white guys that want to storm the Capitol. Like, oh my God. Have you ever in your life seen anything? Those people weren't poor people.
No,
they were fucking upper middle class.
They could afford Kevlar.
They can afford Kevlar.
I can't fucking afford Kevlar. I can't afford Kevlar.
No,
not that I can't.
I don't want Kevlar. I don't want to have anything to do with it.
Right.
It's all this shit. It's like, where does all these power fantasies come from? And we're just like, too much fucking American movie watching, years and years of living in fantasy land and being paranoid, and they don't understand what runs the world. So now they decide to blame everybody and their brother. Right. And like, I can only hope that they would turn on each other and destroy themselves, while more capable people would take over. It's like, we have to have some plan to pick up after they fuck up. You know, it just doesn't seem right that people like that could drive us down. Just this know-nothing bunch of, you know. It's like, I'd rather make a mistake in socialism. You know, at least people are alive. You know what I mean? If you're going to take a chance, you know,
right?
If you're going to take a chance with anything, it's like you mutate. That's what America's always good at, mutating and innovating. And now to these guys, it's like, no, if you innovate at all, you're like non-American stuff. And the use of the flag, I don't think I can ever look at the flag again.
No,
I can't. It makes my skin crawl when I look at the flag.
No, I see someone with the flag on the car and it's, oh, fuck this.
You think they're going to run you off the road?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah. They look like Bundists. You know, they really look like those Nazi Bundists that have been around. It's like, dude, what you've done is cheapen everything and like really stripped it down to its bare essentials, the thin veneer of civilization. It can really go that far, you know? But fuck that shit. I mean, we'll know after the midterms what the next 10 years is going to be.
Yeah.
And unless Biden or this administration like literally blows up the world in the next 5 months, I think we'll be all right, because they don't seem to be doing anything horribly wrong. They're spending a lot of money, but so what? You know?
Yeah.
They're spending it in the right place, as far as I can see.
They're spending it on popular public initiatives.
Right.
So,
you know?
Yes. So,
you know, it's like it's at least enough.
I wish I had that like basic hope going into the midterms. I'm not sure I do, but yeah.
Well, they'll come back with everything they got, because they're not out of gas yet. I mean,
No.
you know,
No.
you can get a lot of mileage on absolute insanity, and we certainly have enough people that are mad enough at something. It's just they're just mad at life, you know. That's like built in. I had an incident where I went to a 7-Eleven. It was just like 2 months ago, and people in there were like, "Well, you know, he won the election, blah blah blah," and I'm like, I'm minding my own business, and I saw him, and I finally had to go. Like, they're both like 3 people slapping themselves in the back that Trump actually won the election, and the big lie was real, and you know, all this stuff. And I was just like, nah. I was like, I think he just lost to you guys, you know. Like, what?
Yeah, right.
And then they started in on me. I dare you to take that mask off. And I was like, I am in Red Bank, New Jersey. I don't know where you guys live, but I've never in my life seen anyone behave like this in my whole life, in my whole little town. You know what I mean? It's like, this is nuts. Like, what have you kids been up to? And then it all came out, you know. It was like they started using those little, you know, you can hear the words, you know, it sounds like QAnon. You know,
right.
they can't help it, but they tip their hand. They're speaking in a way that what's that horrible guy on Fox? They're like that horrible guy, Tucker Carlson.
Mm-hmm. The talking points, right? You do the sound bites, the talking points.
The talking point. I was like,
talking points.
I said, you guys are old enough to know that it's all bullshit. There are enough books out there that were written by really smart people since the 1960s. We should be over this shit. It's been a long time. We were over this stuff.
Right.
How did it come back?
Right.
So I was like, all right, this is gonna be it's gonna take a long time. And like, I just hope they all die. You know, just get sick, or you know, not die, but you know, just get to feel poorly enough to like sit one out.
Right. Sit one out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm feeling.
Right. Oh, Jesus.
When you see people taking, you know, flights and chartering flights to go to the insurrection, you know, you're in a bad time.
Oh.
You know, it's the ex-military guys that really scare me too, because those are people that are trained, and you know they're just dying to do something.
And the cops. And the cops.
That's a whole.
It's the cops.
It's going to have to be very, very carefully done.
It's the cops.
And it's not going to help with the way it's handled. Reactionary, screaming, ridiculous left, fringy, younger people who don't read their history, don't realize that you're going to get these guys so mad that they're going to force a confrontation that's not going to wind up good for all of us. It has to be very, very carefully handled. You know, You have to get the cops to destroy each other, because they're going to blame everybody else. It's like, it's a big problem. Everybody knows the cops suck. They've known it forever. And they're just glad that they don't suck in front of them. Like, well, at least I didn't get beat, you know, so that's good. I got away from that one. But shit, man. I mean, it's the 21st century, motherfucker. You ain't getting away with this shit no more. Right. That's it. Now that everyone's got a camera, there's no way on earth that you guys are going to pull this off without somebody knowing. So, you know, you take them to task, and you go to every police chief in America and go, you motherfucker are going to have to clean up your little nest of fucking rats. And if you don't clean it up, you're out. And we'll just keep replacing. Get them to kill each other. Get them to fucking, and then change the law. Don't just change the law and make them all hide, because they're like rats. They'll hide behind their same priorities. But the modern Dems, they seem to just want to go in there and, you know, like run these ridiculous ideas up the flagpole that are nice in high school ideas, but they're not practical ideas in real life, you know. That's like, somebody's got to be the cops. And unless we're willing to train millions and millions of people and spend a lot of money on it, we're going to have to get them from somewhere. That's why Europe works better than us, because they actually do put money. And their cops are trained, they have to go psychological.
Right. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Dave.
I run from police. I'm scared of police, and I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. No, I don't. Yeah.
I'm sure you're the same way, right? Like, oh, it's the cops.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
It's like, yeah, it's the cops. I'm like the least 40-year-old white dude with my 3-year-old walking around this. No, yeah, no.
I'm sure they can find
cops,
something.
Right. Yeah. No, I'd rather not deal with it. Dave, Mr. Wyndorf, this was a fucking pleasure. You made my day. You made my day. You made my day. You made my day. And I'm sorry about canceling yesterday. Let me stop the recording. I'll tell you what's going on.
Yeah. Okay.